Hi, I'm Andrew, the young adult and media librarian at North Brunswick Public Library. I'm going to talk about a new book called Witchlight. It's a graphic novel by Jessi Zabarsky. It's not a manga book. I know it's not Japanese, but Zabarsky, the author and illustrator, is very much influenced by romance manga. So if you like manga, then you might enjoy it, and you can sort of see that she uses a lot of the same storytelling devices that a lot of manga artists use in terms of the way the story is told. Now, this takes place in a fantasy world. Generally, when you see a map like this at the beginning of a book, you're going to see characters go on a physical journey somewhere. Maybe there's a quest they're on. Maybe they have to find a magic item or destroy it or rescue a princess, something like that. Well, the characters in this book do go on a journey, but it's more, but even though even though they travel around physically, it's really more about an internal journey, as well as the two characters get to know each other, go themselves. They also learn a lot about each other. All right, and the first character we meet, the first of the two main characters we meet, is Sandra, and this is Sandra. Right, here she is, taken by surprise. She's working for her father. Now remember, this is in a fantasy. This is in a fantasy world, and it has its own rules. And I think that one of the things I enjoyed about this book was seeing how it was seeing the rules as they came up. Right. I'll show you what. I don't want to get away too much. I don't want to give away too much. But we can see that in the relationships with the characters. Right. So very early in the book, she meets this character Lilac, and Lilac is a witch, which is why she has a lit candle floating over her head, because we'll learn that witches like her keep part of their soul in that candle. Right? I think there's a lot of very original thoughts in the creation of the world in this book. Well, anyhow, Sandra quickly realizes that she does everything, that she'll sort of con people in order to survive. All right. And that she uses potions to do magic. Right. And the potions, it's fun sort of the way the effects are drawn after she has a potion, how the magic seems to literally come out of her mouth in a way. And there's actually a very specific reason why she uses potions in magic, but I don't want to give away the discovery of that. They get into a fight. There's not a lot of fighting in this book, but there is some fighting. Not very gory fighting. And it comes clear that Sandra is a competent fighter, but Lilac is not. So after a series of events, Sandra ends up training Lilac how to fight. And they make an arrangement where they'll travel from town to town, and Lilac will challenge a witch in that town to fight, and they'll make money that way. So witches are not part of it necessarily the most secret thing in the world in this world. They're not always persecuted or put on trial or put on fire or burned at the stake, etc. But some people don't trust them either, right? The witches are not necessarily rulers. They're not necessarily, it's not like the normal people are, the non-magical people have to run for their lives from witches all the time, right? Sometimes you see those extremes in fantasy literature, and this one is sort of in between. There's a diversity in terms of how the characters look, right? Some are light and some are dark. And as they go along, they get to learn sort of about themselves and their own personal traumas. They'll meet people along the way that will make them realize things about themselves and each other, and they form a very strong bond as they go. So if this sounds like something that you would like, you can put a request on this. You can put a hold on it through contactless pickup procedure by either by calling the library or going to our website, northbrunswicklibrary.org. Have you read this book? I'm curious to hear your opinion about it. Or if there's another book that you'd like us to look at, or maybe invest in, to purchase for the library, please let me know. I'd always love to hear from you. Happy reading.